Back to another YouTube video. It's your boy Uriah G. Today we're gonna react to 10 moments that killed WWE PG. Let's get right into the video. 10 moments that killed WWE PG. Let's get right into the video.
How you say? A lesbian.
10
We just started off with Santina Marella.
moments that killed WWE PG. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our videos on WrestleMania XL. Number 10, Stephanie McMahon gets attacked by Randy Orton. And there was a ton of concern heading into WrestleMania 20.
This moment right here was crazy. WrestleMania 25, the storyline between Triple H and Randy Orton. This man, Randy Orton, punk kicked Stephanie McMahon in the head, had Triple H in handcuffs. This is the time when Legacy was around with Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase also.
5. Mania 25 was said to be the first Mania of the newly introduced PG era, and there was a lot of worry that WWE wouldn't want to deliver any hard-hitting, compelling angles. Thankfully, that wasn't the case, as WWE delivered their most intense angle in years, and it centered around a feud between the McMahon family and WWE's resident top heel, Randy Orton. The content that WWE delivered pushed the boundaries of PG to the absolute limit, as when Orton encountered Stephanie McMahon, WWE booked Orton to attack McMahon in a moment that had the wrestling world talking.
I think he had kissed her, yeah, I think, and that's what had gotten Triple H pissed. Like, they had Randy had him in cuffs, and it's like he was trying to fight him, but he was in cuffs, and then that was the advantage. But let's not forget Triple H breaking into Randy's home.
Orton would even kiss McMahon's unconscious body, which took the angle right to the next level, and heading into WrestleMania 25, the match between Orton and Triple H was without a doubt the most anticipated match on the entire card, and it was all down to this angle. Number 9.
So what I'm hearing is, for WrestleMania 25, you know, it being a good show in a sense, that, did you guys enjoy that Triple H and Randy match? Was that the highlight of the night, or was that Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker match the highlight?
Rhea Ripley's antics. Now, over the past few years, one of the wrestlers...
But it could also mean there was a lot of different highlights in that show.
On the modern WWE roster who has pushed the limits of PG is Rhea Ripley. During an on-air alliance with Dominic Mysterio, the two would often find themselves in compromising positions, and clips from their matches and segments often went viral and were seen by non-wrestling fans.
We already know what this is, the Dirty Dom thing.
Ripley is also prone to twerking and dancing in unique ways, to say the very least. But WWE have definitely allowed the former women's champion free reign when it comes to her character, and it's evident that Ripley is having fun virtually ignoring any PG guidelines, including her sexy pins. Number 8. Bloodshed inside the cage. Now, there was a ton of hype leading into CM Punk vs Drew McIntyre inside Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood 2024. The feud was without a doubt the top feud of the Triple H era WWE, and with them loosening the rules and guidance around PG, fans had hoped that Punk and McIntyre would be able to deliver a classic Hell in a Cell match that had intensity and, of course, bloodshed.
Definitely a good rivalry of, you know, of this era.
The audible gasp from the audience was an indicator that this was about to be a style of Hell in a Cell match that hadn't been seen in the past 15 years. The spots in the match were completely wild, and WWE didn't just deliver a match that belonged in a bygone era, they delivered a match that saved the reputation of the Cell itself. Number 7. The Fiend is set alight. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, it allowed WWE to take major risks and shoot major angles in a more unconventional manner. One of the top feuds during this time period was between The Fiend and Randy Orton. This feud escalated when the two rivals collided in a Firefly Inferno match at TLC 2020. This match was notable, as the infamous match came to a close when Orton poured gasoline over The Fiend, setting him alight and seemingly putting a permanent end to him. Some fans did.
I don't know too much about this match. The only reason why is because this is around like one of the worst times of wrestling, because look, I know a lot of people enjoy this pandemic era, which is, I believe, what is it, 2020. But this isn't one of the best years of wrestling. They were able to do more in a sense because there was no crowd, but there's been better years.
Did question how WWE
What's the worst wrestling WWE year? Y'all tell me in the comments.
were allowed to get away with it, especially because burning a man alive on television wasn't exactly family-friendly content. But despite the severe burns, the Fiend would eventually resurface on WWE programming, and they managed to show the impact of the burns on the character with the iconic wrestler introducing a new burnt attire. Basically, you couldn't kill the unkillable. Number 6, the Flaming Table. Now in 2014 at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, WWE attempted to make the pay-per-view extreme by having a flaming table spot in the main event, yet it ultimately led to severe criticism from fans. The main event of the pay-per-view saw Daniel Bryan take on Kane in an Extreme Rules match, and this was the match in which Kane lit a table on fire before Bryan pulled Kane into the flaming wood. Whilst it was a great moment, the illusion was then destroyed thanks to WWE crew members hovering around with fire extinguishers just minutes before the match. Obviously, it was appreciated and understandable why WWE did this.
I think this is the Inferno
They
match.
could have presented the spot in such a way where it wasn't obvious what the spot was going to.
They need to bring back the Inferno match. It's a classic match. They had it. They had that mode in what, WWE 13? I think that was the last time.
Involve. Number 5, the Thumbtacks return. One of the weapons that was abolished from WWE when the company went PG in 2008 was thumbtacks. Thumbtacks are an extremely
Yeah, this was definitely a used, weapon in WWE. It's technically a weapon in a sense, because it makes their backs bleed.
violent weapon, and one of the main issues with them is that they instantly cause the wrestler to bleed upon landing on them. With WWE having a no blood policy, the weapon was never going to be used again. But with that being said, at the 2016 Extreme Rules event, the Sinister Tax made a return during the Asylum match between Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho. During the match, Jericho was slammed into the tax, and based on the reaction, the audience knew they had seen a rare TV-14 moment in the PG era, and it took the match to the very next level. According to Jericho, during a 2016 edition of Talk is Jericho, he was shocked that Vince McMahon approved of the decision. We were really surprised, Ambrose and I, because we came up with the idea for the Ambrose Asylum. We were surprised that Vince allowed us to use the tax. It hadn't been done in 10 years. It has been that long between tack bumps, and when the finish came in and Ambrose is going over, I have to take the bump on the tax. I have to. He can't take the bumps on the tax and then go on and win. It just doesn't make sense. I was likely due to Jericho's standing as a veteran, it heavily influenced McMahon's decision, and if anyone lower down on the roster made the request to use the thumbtacks again, it probably would have been instantly denied. Number 4, crushed to death. The TLC pay-per-view in 2017 featured an attempted murder, and for a while it was presented as if the WWE had just killed off one of their top stars. Braun Strowman was teaming with The Miz, Kane and The Bar against a trio of Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins and Kurt Angle. During the course of the match, Strowman's partners turned on him and they
Before Kurt Angle retired to Baron Corbin.
decided that they wanted to put a permanent end to his existence. They would place him in the back of a garbage truck, and the operator of the truck would then reluctantly release the switch on the truck. And this meant that Strowman had just been crushed to death on a live pay-per-view. It was without a doubt one of the more insane moments of the PG era, and although Strowman eventually returned to WWE television, it was really never explained how Strowman survived this near-death experience. Number 3, Randy Orton's weapon of choice.
This one right here is the craziest, worst one. He put a screwdriver through this man's ear, Jeff Hardy.
The feud between Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy in 2018 was vastly underrated. What made the feud so special was that WWE allowed both legends to go all the way with the storyline. The two men were involved in some brutal segments, and their Hell in a Cell showdown saw Randy Orton use a weapon that should never be allowed in the PG era. In a rather creative yet sinister looking spot, Orton would thread a screwdriver through Hardy's earlobe and twist it until Hardy was screaming in pain. The spot was completely unique, and there was no way that this wasn't one of the most painful spots of Hardy's entire WWE career. Jeff Hardy would discuss the notable spot during an interview with the 11th Hour, and according to the former WWE champion, the secret was to make it real tight, but to ensure that the ear didn't come off clean. We did the first earlobe deal, with just the fingers, and actually one of the up-and-coming commentators, I think he's from 205 Live, he was like, what if you use a screwdriver? And then we kind of threw around ideas, and we both compromised on a certain screwdriver to put it in, twist it, make it real tight, and not rip it off. WWE quite rightly received praise for the spot, as it made the match stand out and it created a somewhat iconic visual that will be discussed for many years to come. Number 2. Dom and Liv. Dominic and Rhea Ripley's relationship harkened back to the Attitude Era, where Dom's real father Eddie Guerrero would be smitten with China, a great throwback to one of the best
Dominic Mysterio in another moment of killing the WWE PG. So he was, because he was with Rhea Ripley and then Liv Morgan. He was with both in general, so
best pairings WWE ever made. However, the relationship between Rhea and Dom got incredibly rocky when Liv Morgan would tease her insatiable appetite for Dominic Mysterio and taking him away from her. The teases led to many memorable moments on television, as whilst things may have looked innocent and accidental, they certainly weren't taken that way by Rhea Ripley. One moment particularly on Raw saw Liv Morgan appear wearing Dominic's vest, engaging in a flirtatious exchange. She then invited Dominic to retrieve the vest himself, leading to a tense moment where he began to unzip it. However, before
that is definitely not PG.
a full unzipping occurred, Rhea Ripley would intervene. Liv Morgan's flirtatious teases continued on television, as of course we all remember Liv Morgan's shorts during that infamous segment between her and Dominic Mysterio. But this all came to a close at SummerSlam as Dominic Mysterio turned on Rhea Ripley and intervened, assisting Morgan in winning the Women's World Championship. And number 1, The Rock's profanity. Now, it's often been said that any established PG rules or guidelines don't apply to The Rock. This has never been more clear than The Rock's.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of, doing more with the explicit profanity. Like, wrestling used to be, in the 90s, they were able to slide with saying certain words, but now, like I said, they follow the PG.
Run as a final boss in 2024. It was almost as if The Rock had no idea that WWE was a PG product, as every promo would feature some type of cursing or deviation away from the set PG guidelines. One of the most non-PG segments The Rock was involved in took place on the road to WrestleMania 40, and it saw the final boss ambush Cody Rhodes in the parking lot. This segment was filled with profanity.
Yep, a lot of blood and yeah.
Non-PG elements. This is a case of The Rock doing whatever he wanted. Once the segment had concluded on Raw, The Rock took to Instagram to continue the beatdown, and this is where The Rock informed the world champion that he was going off script. What, just because the show's over? That doesn't mean shit stops. The Rock doesn't give an F. Show is over, then it stops? F that. Your script, F that. Now, the segment got the entire wrestling world talking, and some questions.
So what I'm guessing is, since he works with the TKO and whatever, he doesn't really care. If he wants to use those words, he's going to do it. He doesn't care about the script. That's what I'm guessing.
How on earth The Rock was able to get away with so much cursing and profanity? Also, when The Rock made a rare appearance on the NXT brand in early 2025, it was an expectation that The Rock would heavily tone down the profanity, but that isn't what happened, and The Rock just upped his level of profanity instead. In fact, The Rock's promo. Alright,
that was 10 moments that killed WWE PG. Tell me what you guys want to see next in the comments down below. I got more videos coming. Stay tuned, subscribe, like, comment, and yeah, Uriah out.